thank you for joining us today. I'll start with we have Google here, and we have 2 TV stations. And I notice sometimes that my kids actually watch more YouTube than TV. So I'll start with just one provocative statement. Will Google eat your lunch? Or will you manage to basically evolve into something better for all? Sam, would you like to take this first?
Jawad, it's always a pleasure. Thank you very much. I take it that given that you've invited me again this year, that you don't honestly think that TV is dying, and the fact that there are 2 TV stations and 1 internet player here, and Fadi can choose which side is on. I think TV, in truth, TV is the foundation of entertainment and news in this region. And let me just give a few causes. There were 92 million people who watched the final of Arab Idol, watched Mohamed Asaf won. That's 92 million concurrent users in your language. Entertainment TV still packs a punch which the internet doesn't get. And if the entertainment shows aren't compelling enough, look at the drama. So entertainment packs big events. On drama, we get those kind of audiences each day. So Laith Wanura is currently getting 17% of the Saudi population are watching day in, day out Laith Wanura. Sansal Adam in Egypt was getting 12%. Those are big viewing figures. And on drama, the content, the quality of TV content is going up and up. So if Google are going to eat it, they're going to have to have a big stomach. For example, we are about to launch Saraya Adin in Ramadan. Possibly the highest quality production you'll have seen in the region. People talk about the death of TV, but in fact, you're seeing growth in quality, and the numbers are going up. Entertainment, drama, news and current affairs. My take is that TV remains the touch point for a lot of the introspection, the focusing on key issues in emerging and transforming societies. And TV does that in a very powerful way. Bassem Youssef started on the internet, but he had his influence on television. And when they tried to jam him, they jammed the TV stations. They didn't jam it on YouTube. And one more example. Some of you may watch Dawood Al-Sharian on Dawood Tlamania. It's a Saudi show every night, which takes an issue pertinent, a local issue pertinent to Saudi, and really puts a spotlight on it. And Dawood is a robust character, and he does that in a very powerful way. Now, we had a request from one of the ministries in another country. They were running a seminar on customer service, and they'd got the minister and other ministers from other ministries to join the seminar. And they asked us, would we lend Dawood to come and moderate the panel? And we kind of hummed and hawed. We said, okay, fine, we'll do that. By the same afternoon, every single minister had pulled out of the panel because they didn't want to be questioned or be put under the pressure by Dawood. That's the power of TV. It has the ability to drive accountability and transparency. Now, I'm not going to dismiss the digital revolution at all. It's extremely powerful. But if you're going to start with anecdotes about your kids, I have to say that TV, the quality goes up, the viewership is robust, and it's supported by a powerful growth in advertising. This is not a sector under threat.
Thank you very much. Mohammad from Google, would you like to comment as well?
Hi, Jawad. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting me again. I really don't want you to turn this into Sam versus Mohamed round 2. Okay, so yeah. No, but really the reality is that my kids are on YouTube as well, but they're also watching a lot of TV. You know, that's the reality, okay? We always talk about the first part of the statement, and we forget that people are watching TV and people are buying bigger and bigger TVs and more high definition, more 3D and so on. So really TV is not dead, okay? And I think it's nice for panels to have these discussions, but in reality TV is extremely, is here to stay, and it's very sexy actually. Okay, excuse my language. But the thing is, I think the major flaw in this argument, to be honest, Jawad, is that you cannot compare MBC to YouTube, okay? Because these are apples and oranges. You know, MBC produces content and gets this content, produces and aggregates content and gets this content to the users through a platform. YouTube is a platform. It's actually out there for everyone, people, users, production companies, broadcasters, anyone can use this platform to their own benefit, okay? And I think that's really the minor nuance there that people need to understand. And what we're seeing today is that people are adopting YouTube in different ways, okay? Some broadcasters are putting their content on YouTube. Some of them are putting part of their content on YouTube. Some of them are only using YouTube as to promote their content so that people go to TV, and so on. There's many use cases. Some companies are actually using YouTube as a customer service platform. You know, telcos are doing this. Banks are doing this. They're analyzing how many phone calls how many call center calls are they getting on certain topics, and they're creating YouTube videos on these topics, and every time someone calls, they send them the link. Okay, they give them the solution, but then they send them the link. That's another example. And then there is, you know, the YouTube-born broadcasters or the YouTube-born content creators, which, you know, Kharabish here in Jordan is a very, very, very good example, is that they're using YouTube and they're becoming real businesses. These people are having hundreds and hundreds of people employed on a business model that's based on YouTube that probably could not really work on other platforms. Let me use an example from Sam. You know, Bassem Youssef is a classic example of how he actually started on YouTube and now he's on MBC and YouTube, okay? So really to close, just to say that TV and YouTube can coexist. I think that, you know, TV broadcasters feel that there is some threat from YouTube. I personally believe that there's a way to coexist, but we need to talk. We need to find the model, and we need to have the spirit of partnership for it to work. If we end up, you know, following you, Jawad, and, you know, fighting every time we sit on a panel, I don't think we'll find a solution.
Thank you very much. Interesting comments from Google and also a major broadcaster. I'd like now to ask Sylvain from France 24 and Mohamed from CNBC to tell us about what they're doing as broadcasters using the platforms of YouTube and other social media platforms. What are your strategies vis-a-vis these technologies and platforms?
Okay, very clearly, I started in France 24 as a broadcast editor. I'm coming from radio and then TV. And 3 years ago, I started managing the websites and the apps, the new media at France 24. So I have the whole perspective. And I wouldn't oppose that much television to the internet, because for me, it's already the same thing. In order to our strategy towards YouTube, it's very simple. The question you asked was, is the social media role, is it disruptive? Is it game changer? Definitely it's disruptive and it is game changer. What we notice, for example, just to talk about, we are operating, for those who don't know France 24, France 24, we're operating in 3 languages. We have French, of course, English and Arabic. Just to talk of the Arabic version of the website and the TV, what we're seeing is that already 50% of the audience and the internet is coming from mobile. What we're seeing also, speaking of the Arab world, of the region in general, is that the amount of the audience coming from social media is 30%, whether it's only 10% for the French website and the English website. So we are right to talk about Facebookistan and Twitteristan, considering the region. So what we're doing with YouTube, of course, I told you, for me, we will not have to oppose television and internet. We have, for example, general in the 3 languages, more than around 60% already of the video views are coming from YouTube, and 40% only from our websites. So obviously we're having a partnership with YouTube. What I will say on this question is that we're very glad to have this partnership with YouTube, of course. But the challenge is, of course, is the revenue. We're going to have very big difficulties to continue putting good contents, honest and accurate reporting on the ground, programs to put it on YouTube. If the share of revenue is this share of revenue 50-50 or 60-40, I know it's a little bit provocative to have this question put on the ground, but it's going to be really difficult. But of course, we have to discuss with YouTube. It's unavoidable. But who's bringing the content after all? We are bringing the content.
Thank you very much. Mohamed?
Actually, I will start from the point he ended with, which related to the revenue issue. Actually, as a commercial game at the end of the day, to survive, you need to be supported financially. So the advertisement cake is the target at the end of the day. From that point of view, in spite of the booming in the internet and social media, we are still talking about that the big share of the cake is with the traditional media up to this minute. For example, if we are talking about the total ad spending over the 2013, overall the world, it's around 552 billion. Actually, 20% of it only related to online spending and new media, social media advertisement. So still 80% of the advertisement cake with the traditional media. But that doesn't mean at all that the situation will continue like this forever. From my point of view, that there is big change coming on the way because the consuming habits totally changed. People now are getting their main news, their communication link with the world around them by internet and by social media. So I would like here as well to shed some light about the previous discussion and to try to create a link, because from my point of view, the suffering from the lack of revenue or profit dropping in the telecom sector is related as well to the media. In the past, over the maybe 70th and 80th from the last century, the media and telecommunication sectors were totally separated in terms of investment. But over the past 10 years, it seems to me and to the players in this both industries, they are getting closer and closer. And at the end of the day, I'm seeing that day where the telecom sector and media sector will merge together. What are we going to do to face, or not to face actually, to participate in that phase? The question on this is related to the circumstances in the telecommunication sector itself. There is suffering from revenue drop or profit drop, and on the media sector as well, there is the same problem is there. The link between these two sectors is the content. So creating the content, the right content, especially in the Arab world, I'm talking about the Arab world, will help a lot of both markets to grow up in the future.
Thank you very much. Fadi, you're a successful entrepreneur, and also you're a serial angel investor. You've invested into the biggest success story in the Arab world, Maktoub, the new media company. Hearing that, what's your thought as somebody who invests in digital content companies and so on?
Thank you, Jawad. So I would suggest that we just look at some of the trends that are happening, and I'll throw some statistics at you that would just get us all to really think about where we're heading. So if and addressing the issues that you have been talking about. So if you and then we can draw our own conclusions from that. I mean, so is TV dying? I don't think TV is dying, and it's a content producing platform at the end of the day. But you need to think about these these numbers that are popping up. So mobile data is 81% consumed is video. 81% of mobile data today is video. So that affects what happens there. Tablets are growing by 52% today. While you had given a lot of statistics earlier on the phone, so I'm not gonna give you. While smartphones are only growing by 20%, so you need to think about that. There are 5.5 billion TVs today. 5.5. So by definition, you're dominant, and I think you have reached one TV per home today. While if you look at smartphones, you have only 1.6 billion smartphones today. So you need to think about the delivery mechanisms and of what's happening. While if you look at advertising spend and time spent on a specific media. So 19% of global advertising spend goes to print media, while only 5% of consumer time is on print media. So there is that disconnect. If you want to go all the way to TV, 38% of consumer time is spent on TV, while 45% is of the advertising spend. If you move to mobile, 20% of time is spent on mobile, while only 4% of advertising is happening on mobile. So you'd better be worried. You'd better be worried about what's happening. And if you want to go to the internet, 25% time spent is on the internet, while 22% of advertising spend is on the internet. So digitization is happening. The content revolution is also becoming much more democratized. So it is the consumer that's generating content. So are we going to worry about that? Consumers are also, YouTube today is monetizing the consumer-generated internet. I mean, U-Turn has 286 million views today on YouTube. That is extremely monetizable. Our own Kharabish here in Jordan has millions of views, and they're generating a lot of money out of that. They're the second after U-Turn. They're the second in the region in there. So we'd better be looking very carefully about that, and TV has to worry. I mean, is it gonna be taken over today? No, but is the future and the near future is going to challenge the traditional ways of doing things? You bet it is going to be. Let me tell you a little bit more about some of the consumers in the Arab world that from the youth side of things. Booz recently did a survey, and I need to find it here. They say that at least 35% of news for people in from the age of 15 to 35 is coming from the internet today. If you look at our print distribution in the Arab world, it has been stagnant and dropping. In Jordan, in the past 10 years, I can tell you, and I know the print business because we no longer are, because we decided this is not a business that we want to be in as a distribution company. The newspaper industry has been stagnant and has not increased one single reader in the past 10 years. So And new media, even in Jordan, if you want to look at it, the new media sites, despite all the censorship issues, are the primary sources of news for us rather than the traditional media. So if you look, with all due respect, and I have a lot of respect for Al-Ra'i, if you look at Al-Ra'i, it is not the top internet news site in Jordan. It is other sites. So every incumbent, whether TV, print, or it needs to think about how they're going to be delivering their content in the future, and who is reading that content, and how they are going to monetize. The problem, the issue of free and monetization and the long tail is a huge story today. Because most of the content today that is going on online is free. So how do you monetize that? How do you actually use those channels that are coming up today so that you're able to monetize? Lastly, you talk to me, you're asking me about being an angel investor. If you wanna, if the regional industry, I mean, and Arabic, so another trend is that Arabic is really ridiculously low in terms of being produced on the internet. But there is very little money also going into the new media in the Arab world. There's little money that's going into internet in the Arab world. There is very little money that is angel or venture capital that is being invested in future medias in the Arab world.